All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Thanks for joining us here today as we approach the noon hour Central Time here. Is it going to be a noon balloon or a noon swoon? I think we're doing all right after yesterday's gains. It's good to see us be able to tack a few more on, right? Let's take a look and see what the corn board says. And we've come off the boil, as I say every now and again. September's only up 3 3/4 cents now to 4.04. That's 3 cents off the high. New crop D's, that's up 4.5 cents to 4.19.5, and that's about 3 cents off the high as well. Soybeans, you ask? Well, here, let's take a look. Yesterday, we had a 30-some-odd point gain. Now we're able to add to that today, 9.5 cents higher in the SEP, 10.74 last. But what's unique about that is that's still about 8 cents off the highs, folks. Novi beans, the new crop, 9 3/4 cents better there to 10.78.5, and that too is about 8 1/4 cents off the highs. So we really had it going at some point in time here. We backed off. Maybe we'll get some momentum going into the close. We'll see. How about the wheat market in Chicago? That's down about 1.5 cents across the board. SEP's off 1 3/4 cents to 5.46 1/4, while we've got the D's board off 1.5 to 5.71 1/2. All right, that's wheat in Chicago. Let's go from Chicago to Kansas City and take a look at the hard red. That's off about a penny too. SEP's lower by a cent to 5.70 3/4. In the middle of that range, we've got we're about 6 cents off the highs, and we're working on about a 14-cent range. How about that? And then moving over to the March, that's down 1.25 to $6.25, hanging on to that $6 line. Moving from the hard red in Kansas City to Minneapolis, let's take a look at the spring wheat, 2 3/4 cents lower in the front month SEP. 6.20 is last there. Boy, 9.5 cents off the highs of the day, so that'll show you where we were. But now we're closer to the lows by almost, let's say, 6 1/4 cents off the lows. So there you go. That's spring wheat. Deese is down 2 3/4 cents to 6.37. So that's what's happening there. Let's take a look at cotton, and we'll get back to our guest analyst. 98 points lower in Deese cotton. 69.64 is last, and that brings us to Tommy Grisafi. He's with Advanced Trading in Valparaiso, Indiana. I believe he's in Valpo. He's not traveling around. Tommy, thanks for coming on. It's nice to see us tack on to some gains for once.
Yeah, we're allowed to go up. I think we made it real clear last few weeks that we're in a bear market, and bear markets have vicious short covering rallies, and we got to experience a little of that today, Scotty boy. We had that 20-cent rally in beans yesterday. Was tacked on another 15. Now we're giving it up, and wheat's doing wheat things and making people sad. But soybeans are still up 9. Corn's doing okay. Wheat's giving it up. Think of this. We think, how's the farmer going to sell this crop? And everything. Think of it, take off your farmer hat and think of it as an end user hat. Think of what China's looking at, America politically. We're 105 days away. I don't know if you know this or if your viewers know this, but we have an election coming up in 105 days, and it's really going to affect a lot of things. And we have no clue who some of the candidates are going to be, or vice president or anything else. And that's how policy gets set. So who are we going to elect? Is it going to be a dramatic change? Who's going to be the next ag secretary? How's commerce going to look? Are there tariffs? All these things. If you look at markets as a place to take risk or lay off risk, countries and people are having to do that right now. Thank God we live in the greatest country in the world, the US of A. By the way, I was at the Porter County Fair last night, and I had several people come up to me, and they say they love Scott the Cow Guy Show. They love RFD TV and Market Day Report. Now, I think they were talking about probably Suzanne, but nonetheless, I think your name did come up there. What say you, Cow Guy?
What do I think? I think that we've got a little bit of fun covering. I don't think it's anywhere near enough to see a 40 or 50 cent rally in corn like we did when they kind of covered going into the spring. But I also feel like I see that there's some people obviously that know that the funds are short and they're front running a fund cover. You know what I mean? So there's been a little bit of buying that way too. I say if I was a broker, I would make sure that my guys were taking advantage of this. I think the crop's going to be big. I think hot and dry here for a little bit wouldn't be a bad thing for some places in the country too. I know it's not always uniform, but it's never uniform. And so I would have to. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, it's. And the same with beans. I know beans are going to be a little bit later, but if we were on our farm, and it looks everything up there. By the way, looks fantastic. You might be taking a tad off of some of these yields, but for about 3 weeks now, I've been having guys on the radio and television talk to me about, let's say, even corn 182, 183, some of them as high as 185, Tommy. So they take a little bit off of that. You're still doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm in the bushel business and I love helping people sell bushels. We plan on being that we work with the best farmers in America. We do not market grain from the stance that you stink at farming and you farm poor ground and you didn't try to grow the bushel. Now, unfortunately, sometimes we forget to sell the bushel, and that's what I think
Yeah.
what you do here every half hour, and the half hour is bring in someone who could maybe help someone else sharpen that pencil. Let's take a little commercial break, and then we'll come back and talk cattle. I
Yeah,
miss
go.
you, Scott. I wish I could hug you in
I think your
person.
mom's got the tomato soup and grilled cheese ready to go. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be. We're going to go pay some bills. Let Tommy have something to eat, and we're going to come back right after this. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about our livestock here for a second. The meats, the proteins, whatever you want to call it. We don't care. We just want to know the price because the price is going to be your money. Let's bring up a live cattle board. We're a little bit better bid, and the front's more than the backs. A $1.15 higher in August to 185.07. And that's about what, 47 cents off the high of the day. If we look at, say, the Dees, 42 cents better there. That's the belly of the curve, 186.45 is last there. And we're still higher on the day as you go out the deferreds, but we definitely lose what we had gained in the front. So that's live cattle for you. A little bit of a better board, but not bad. Let's take a look at feeders. They too are higher, almost around $1 higher across the board. $1.37 higher in August to 257.77. You go out to the October, that's up $1.25 to 257.50, just 42 cents off the high there. And even in Jan, way out there, 97 cents better, almost $1 better. 254.62 is last there, 37 cents from the high. All right, that's feeder cattle. We had gotten some strength earlier from the lean hog market, and we still have it there, right? This is probably the most consistent one. August is up $1.15 to 93.52 in lean hogs. Dees, that's up $1.35 to 69.30. So that's only 42 cents off the high there. Let's get back to him. Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading in Valparaiso, Indiana. Tommy, thanks for sticking around. Anything jump out at you there with those livestock prices?
Well, the tomato soup was awesome on break. Livestock is on fire, just like you, cow guy. I've been listening to some podcasts, very meat specific, and I've been talking to our friend and texting our friend Chris Swift. I've also listened to some other stuff, and there are people who are absolutely monsters and experts on live cattle, and they try so hard to figure out all these numbers. But in the end, as you know, because you grew up in the commodity industry, is we have a cash market and we have a futures market. Keep an eye on the cash market, and then dissect that cash market and look at those cutouts. Look at how how it's processed, who's buying. I can't get super bearish cattle because I still see the stock market hanging in there. Now it's had a little turn today, but Dow Jones down 50 is not by means a stock crash. If something changed, if something bad happened in the world, which isn't too far out on the outside to say that could happen, if we did come in one day and the Dow Jones was down 2,500 or 5,000, it would be a risk-off event like you've never seen. Let's pray to God that doesn't happen. Let's keep watching the cow guy. Keep raising that beef. Matter of fact, I'm driving out to South Dakota here in a few days to pick up a half a beef from a client, and I gave a check to a friend at the Porter County Fair for the 4-H auction this Thursday. Get out there, buy local, support your farmers, and let's put some smiles on those kids' faces. Back to you, Scott.
All right, brother. Great stuff as usual. Really appreciate it coming on. Thank you very much. Tommy Grisafi, he's been to the Porter County Fair right around, it's just outside of Chicago to the east. And this is where we've got a house out there near him. So
I was just trying to picture like a little Scotty kind of running around with like a balloon in your hand, maybe going out and around to the fair.
No,
That didn't happen? No.
No.
I don't know. Thank you, Tommy, for that story.